Did you print off the thingies?
No, girl. Start. You ain't have it? You don't know what we're doing?
I never know what I'm doing.
This is the all or nothing.
Black peopling on the Metro Blurs, because that's us. Hi, we're back. Black peopling. All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Metro Blurs. This is me, the B. How you doing? I'm here with my favorite producer in the whole wide world, Ashley.
She only saying that because I'm her only producer, so by default, I am her favorite producer.
I don't know why you got to do the math out loud like that.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Yo, you can't do the math out loud. You don't want to be. That's embarrassing.
I'm not embarrassed. I'm just saying. I'm pointing out the flaw within that sentence.
The flaw in the no, because you're my only one because I choose you. You know,
the bee is a real sweet talker, y'all, but I ain't buzzing around that honey, okay?
Yo, let me tell you, I realized that two things. One, you're never alone. Like, whatever. Like, you're, even if you say I'm the only one, you're not the only one. You're the favorite one. Take your favoritism. Enjoy it.
Okay.
Enjoy. Take you're one of a kind. You're beautiful. You're wunderbar. You are a darling and an awesomeness to our lives.
Yay.
But let me tell you what happened. So story time. Quick story time.
Is this your week of the week? Or?
Yes, it's actually what scuffed my Timbs. So, story time, real quick. I was on the train yesterday, and this guy hops on the train, and I guess his girl hops in after him. And one thing I really notice is, if a man calls you a male descriptor or male label, you should not be dating him.
What do you mean?
If he's speaking to you like, bro, dude, my Negro, sir, I am not your Negro. I am your girl.
In fact.
Like, I don't like hearing that. One, because you can feel like...
It's like masculizing and defeminizing me.
Yeah. And she's supposed to be your girlfriend. That's supposed to be the
shorty.
Exactly. That's supposed to be the shortest thing in your life. That's supposed to be your sweet pea, your honey pot. Why you being like, yo, my dude, why you do? And usually you know that they feel in a type of way, but those type of relationships always end up negatively. And you know who I blame more? The only person I hate more than an abuser is an abuser's friends. Because 75% of the time, those abusers' friends are the ones who are enabling. They're the ones that are incentivizing, and they're the ones who are aggravating the situation. They're the ones who, when they talking bad about you, when you hear them talking bad about you, your boyfriend's agreeing with them. And what's the story there?
I'm not gonna lie. It's funny you mention it because I faced something similar yesterday. So my homeboy, he was talking about his shorty. That nigga do not like that shorty. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you.
Bro.
He do not like her.
Bro.
I keep telling that nigga to break up with her. He do not like shorty. Point blank period. And it's a discussion that my friends and I always have often. Some men just don't like women in general. It's not even on sexuality. It's just
you just don't like
women. Like you hate women. In fact, you
but don't
think
put
they're
that on the
supposed
rest
to
of
be
us.
subordinate to you. You think that you prefer making your homies happy than your girl, and that's crazy to me. Like,
homies over hoes.
You're not spending the rest of your life with your homies. I mean, they may be the one carrying the casket, but who's paying for the funeral expenses? Your shorty or your homies? And your dumbass homies is gonna be the reason you in the casket in the first place.
Yo, and let me tell you, I want you all to remember who's the person who is making that GoFundMe in your name. Who is the person who's making all them T-shirts on your name? I bet you it's not your homeboy. When you think of someone who passed away, who is the one who actually did that work? And it's not your homeboy.
It's not your homeboy.
But you sit there and that's the person who's around when you're alive, and that's fine and dandy, but don't put your anger on other people, especially why are women catching strays? You don't like us, just don't be around us. There are places for that. There are monasteries for that.
My thing is, though, women are just seen as objects to be used by these men. Like, and it's funny because we both know somebody who loves women, or they claim to really, really love women, but they are one of the biggest misogynists to ever walk.
That's like
earth.
they're a person who, when they speak of women. There are people who speak of women like Beyblades.
All the characteristics they have.
Yes.
And all, yeah.
Yeah, and let it rip out, and then try to, some of them have that one Beyblade that they always gonna play with. That's the Beyblade they're gonna have for the rest of their life. That's their protagonist Beyblade.
Right.
And then you got the one who's like, I got 43 Beyblades. Watch me work. I'm so much cooler because I am an anime guy. I just blew out the speakers doing that shit.
But yeah, men don't be liking when I. You always know when a man don't like a woman. They will tell you. This is the thing about men too. They're very obvious. They will tell on themselves every time. You know, not even just men, human beings in general. Because even something that a human will say as a joke, you're
It's
like,
the truth.
There's truth behind that. That's how they really feel about you. That's what they really think of you. Mm-hmm. And if you're not stalking that in the back of your mind and being like, gotta be weird, this person, you are hurting yourself.
I tell you, and I tell you this often, never believe the words of a man, but believe the jokes. Believe the actions, because that will tell you who you're dealing with way more than any words can. Because they're gonna be like, ha ha ha, you just gonna be my baby mama. I'm just kidding. I really care about you. No, you were not kidding about the whole baby mama.
You really want to impregnate me. And I had to block a nigga on that once. Because what do you mean you want to impregnate me, bro? That's a threat.
That is a threat.
You just threatened my livelihood. And, yo, you know what I discovered the other day?
What?
Crap. That condition that women have when they're pregnant that leads to
ectopic pregnancy?
No. When they have really high blood pressure.
Hypotension?
No, they have a word for it. They have a specific word for it. But
yes.
it almost always puts women's lives at extreme risk when they are giving birth.
Yes.
Clamsia.
Clamsia?
Hyperclampsia?
Yes, hyperclampsia. And hypo, as if your blood pressure goes all the way at the bottom.
Mm-hmm. That's actually as a result of the man. It's men's sperm that cause hyperclampsia. So be careful who you're having children with. Get them genetically tested, because these men are literally the reason that you are on your deathbed. Yeah. Trying to give birth to their big-headed ass child.
All 10 pounds of them.
Crazy how much men are at fault for a lot of the detriment in our world. Crazy.
Also, how...
Stop it.
You just gotta stretch that out and hope that it comes back to normal.
We're not gonna talk about it, because you know the woman on TikTok with the list of all the things that go wrong while pregnant, after pregnant.
Like reasons not to get pregnant. 432.
But yeah, speaking of men not liking women, that's why when it comes to dating, I take the all or nothing approach. You're either in love with me or leave me the heck alone.
Bruh.
And when I say that to people, they look at me like I'm wild. Like, oh, you think that every person you're supposed to date is supposed to fall in love with you? Absolutely. And that's why I only date one person in every 5 years, because go away. If you're not in love with me, I don't need to interact with you. Goodbye. This is not free pooms. None of that. Go away.
Girl, you only have like 2 or 3 leap years in you. What you mean once every 5 years?
I don't even like humans like that, if I'm being honest. So finding someone that I like and tolerate enough to spend time with is already an issue. You think I'm just gonna get in a relationship with anybody after that? The bar is already so high on a regular basis. You think no, it takes a lot. Be in love with me or don't.
Is you is or is you ain't my baby. Honestly, I'm not gonna pretend like I haven't said that out loud, because I have to my partner. I looked at him straight in the face. I said, "Is you is or is you ain't my baby." Also, he asked me, "Oh, so, what about the baby mama?" He said, "Would you ever be a baby mother?" I said, "If I ever end up pregnant We are heading to either a clinic or a courtroom.
And
you
don't
make
even
that
gotta
decision.
be we. Don't even gotta be
No,
I.
no, it is a we decision because that's an ultimatum.
No, because I feel like if I told you, hey, I am pregnant, and you have not popped a ring out in the next week, I'm leaving you. So I will head to the clinic. You don't even gotta come with me.
No, we are heading because you're still paying. You're paying for
he's paying, but I don't need you there.
We're heading to one or two because your money is heading before you.
No, I understand. You can send me the money. You don't gotta be there. You don't gotta see me crying all that. I don't want you around because you were the reason for all this, and now you done messed with my head. I will call my mother or some other support system. I don't need you there.
So let me ask you this, because this is why I believe that those situations are ultimatum situations, and that those are often the points that break relationships. Can you see him the same?
No, I'm telling you it's done. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Unless we are both in the position where we're both like, hey, we love each other very much, but we cannot have a kid right now. That's the only reason that I would still stay in that relationship. Unless I know that there's true love here and we love each other. That's all nice and dandy, but I'm 22. We ain't having no damn kids right now. What's wrong with you? We'll try again in about 5 years.
Yo,
that's the only reason I'd be staying in that situation.
But that's one of those all or nothing points.
Exactly.
Like, okay, so just to be clear and just to talk about today, today's all or nothing day.
Right.
So we are July 26th is all or nothing day, in which we are just doing our best, taking risks, going all in, going big, go home, indulging. It's very indulgent. It feels like treat yourself day.
You know what's funny about that? I was talking to somebody about selfishness the other day, and essentially we were saying, this person is a very selfish person, and I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean it in the way that they are very self-indulgent. They believe that they should do things just because they want to, as long as they're not harming other people, as long as the harm is not greater than the benefit. They're just like, and the thing about that is that becomes wary because everybody has a different moral conduct.
Yes.
Yeah. So we were talking about it and they were like, oh, just do it, as if it was a freaking Nike commercial and I was just doing something very casual. And I'm like, no, what the heck? So then we start having a discussion on morals and going all or nothing. And we landed to a middle ground because when I debate with people, it's never to be like, I'm
to
right,
say right or wrong.
Right. But I think that was interesting leading up to as we were planning all or nothing day. No. So that's something I do struggle with, self-indulgence, especially because I am the firstborn of an immigrant family. Self-indulgence is not something I do. Yeah, because you're always taking care of somebody else. So
you are speaking like an older sibling.
I'm the eldest sibling,
and we know it screams in your. I am the youngest of a Caribbean family, and my sister is similar to you, where they're like, I don't have time for self-indulgence. I have a family and plans and goals in my head already, so whatever. She was a perfect one. She got married perfectly at 27, had the baby right on time. That lady, she knows how to keep a life on schedule. She had 2.5 children. I swear.
What's her birthday? I want to know her.
She is also a is she a Capricorn? She's either a Capricorn or a Sagittarius.
The fact that she might be in the middle, but
she's a cusper. She's like the 19th or something.
Thank you. That does give big Capricorn energy. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no. And I was just like, yeah, no. And that's why I have a lot of close friends who are in that age star sign range. It's a character that I love, but it's just like, oh, you had a schedule. You were not playing around.
Yeah, no, ain't nobody got time for the life is short. I need to make sure I get this done before this age, or else I'm off track for retiring and settling in nicely before death. Like, what are you talking
right.
about?
Because I had a whole plan. I was like, we supposed to be married at 25.
Oh dear.
We're supposed to
now you being unrealistic.
Have a kid at 27 so that they in school by my 30s and I could chase around and join all the PTAs. Now I'm gonna be 40 in the PTA and looking at these kids like, in my day, nobody want to hear about in my day from a PTA meeting. Y'all go sit, Leah, sit down. I would have to tell myself to sit down. I would get up, stand up, look around, and go, I'm gonna sit right back down. I'm gonna shut up now. But as a youngest sibling, fully into self-indulgence, because something that I learned from my older siblings was you're gonna miss out on all of the things that you put aside because you have some quote-unquote goal in mind.
It's not even just that. It's you're doing so much for others so they can self-indulge. It's like,
so why aren't you?
because I'm the one planning it. I can't plan my own.
Yes, you can.
No, I can plan it, but it won't feel as fulfilling.
Yes, you can. Okay, so that's the part of self-indulging, is that nobody has to be. One thing I do every year is I go to the spa. Whether or not people come with me had got nothing to do with nothing. And I have a very self-indulgent indulgent day. I try to go every change of seasons just so that my skin clears up. But I will go to Body by Brooklyn, one of 99 Favors, one of those places by myself. I will pay the $100 that it costs to stay there.
What spa honestly, you get for $100?
I'm telling you a highball price. One of the spas I went to was $25.
We're gonna have to talk after this.
Let me tell you. So I go to the spa, I spend my $100, no more than $100. No Benjamins were hurt in this in the filming of this video. Like, I would go spend a full day, because it's all day. Most of those spas and wet lounges are full day. And if you know how to take care of yourself, then you know how to self-indulge. And honestly, it's just access to water and steam and not being in your home at the time. And that self-indulgent of taking your time and not being bothered by anybody, and nobody wants to talk to you, especially one of my favorites. It's all black women, so nobody wants to talk to anybody. We smile at each other. We give the you black too? Nod. And everybody's silent. It's so wonderful. We only talk to each other. It's the best kind of scenario. We love it, but it's part of self-care, and self-care is healthcare. If you don't take that time to self-indulge and take care of yourself, you will never ever find the time to self-indulge and take care of yourself, and you're going to miss out on the times that you should have, because wrinkles are something that you address before they wrinkle. Like, health is some preventive care is better than reactive care.
Bottom, right. It's better to treat. It's better to what? Prevent than to cure.
Yes. And I didn't start going to the spa until literally I was your age. I think your age was the first time I went by myself, and I've been going every year since.
Okay, since it's all or nothing day, though, let's dissect all or nothing. How much do you self-indulge before you putting yourself at a risk? I mean, it is taking a risk, all or nothing day. But how far are you going until the risk is too huge and you're like, I'm harming myself at this point?
Yo,
you see what I'm saying?
That's a good question, because my rule of thumb is ultimatums break relationships. As soon as you put an ultimatum in a relationship, you are messing with the dynamics of the relationship. It creates resentment in my book. So when you do things that are so self-indulgent to yourself, you start resenting yourself. When you start doing too much, when you go out of moderation, your body notices it before you do.
Wait, let's dial back. You're saying that if I self-indulge too much, I will start hating myself.
Yep.
Why?
Because for me, it's the perfectionist in me. I see that there's always better to be. And if there's always better to be, why am I wasting my own time with something that's wasting my time?
Okay. That's where I think we're getting our hairs crossed.
Okay.
You're saying self-indulgence is a negative thing sometimes if it's too much.
Yes.
But what are we defining as self-indulgent, though? Because the self-indulgence means that there's no discipline.
No.
Then why is it a bad thing then?
Self-indulgence is fine. Over self-indulgent, doing too much. As I said, when you do too much, your body will hate you first. When you're doing too much and you're like, why is it like Why do I have bubble guts every time I have ice cream now? Why is it that I suddenly have a new allergy? I wasn't allergic to carrots before. Your body starts hating you. You start hating you when you start smoking every day.
That
yes,
make the self-indulgence good or bad.
No, every habit.
I gotta disagree with you.
Tell me what habit in that you can do in excess.
Reading.
So if you read all the time, what are you writing? What are you seeing?
You're saying you're not experiencing life.
Exactly.
I still kind of disagree.
Or you become someone who's so book knowledge that you forget real world knowledge.
Yeah. But that's where the discipline I was talking about comes into play. Mm-hmm. So I believe you can be self-indulgent with discipline.
Yes. That's the goal that everyone should have, but we're all human. So finding out your middle ground or your cliff for those things, because there's people who can, like, there are many multimillionaires in New York City. Most of those multimillionaires have
my husband. For what reason? I don't know.
Because the money that they should be spending on you is currently going to their local drug dealer.
This is a sad life, y'all. Please. I live in New York City and do not have a millionaire husband at this point. What is wrong?
You know what? We're going to go hunting, I promise.
Gosh.
But a lot of those have drug dealers who are living in the apartment downstairs because they can afford it. And those people are able to live well and established lives, according to the DSM-5. That's the psychological book of definitions of addiction. Mm-hmm. One of the biggest things is if it makes a strain on your work life and your social life, that's what makes it an addiction. If it causes disruptions in those things for you, that's what makes it an addiction. Is it causing those disruptions? If you're a multimillionaire and there's no problems with your life, no. So can you keep doing it? Sure, I guess. But if you live in the projects and the cost of your rent is the cost that you just gave to the drug dealer, that is a bad idea, right? That's just budgeting. That's just poor budgeting at that point. You can't be giving the crack dealer your rent money. That's just not how things should work. Right? Is that not? Am I bugging? Am I wrong?
I'm not disagreeing with you, but the scenario is kind of weak, like.
Yeah. I just don't think that you should make those budgets. Like if for instance, I think everyone knows Beyonce smokes. No one cares because my girl makes enough money and she got a man who makes enough money that it doesn't matter whether she does or doesn't, because she has other passions, other hobbies, other things that she does.
That is so interesting. I've never thought about Beyonce smoking a day in my life.
That girl, you will, if you watch a couple of videos, she be showing up to interviews. That's why they don't let her talk no more. Yo. She's not allowed to talk no more. She is reckless. Kelly is the talker of the group. Beyonce is, do you need me to sing?
I've actually never. That's so interesting. Okay, moving on.
No, not moving on, because we could talk about Destiny's Child. There's 3 of them. Michelle Bridges Williams, who will sing the bridge of every Destiny song, will carry the from Beyonce to Kelly and Kelly back to Beyonce. Then you have Kelly, the producer of Mitchell, who sat there. She created One Direction, and she also was managing Destiny's Child, learning the trade from her mom, from Auntie Knowles and Uncle Knowles, I guess, whatever. And then Beyonce was the gem, the talent, the Barbie. They were making sure that the only thing that she needs to do in her life is sing and dance. And that is, you be very good at that, and the world will come to you. And guess what? The world came to her.
Someone said they love your hair.
Oh, thank you. I'm trying something new. I think my hair is talking.
Talking is crazy. Let's silence her. Lord.
You're welcome. I love these hairstyles, but like,
they be heavy. Being a black woman is hard sometimes.
Bro,
Like, I've had braids that are too tight, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, you look so great," and I'm just smiling through the pain, like, "Hi."
Like, I can feel all of my roots, but
I
okay.
can think every thought and feel every time I think my hair tightens a little bit. Thank you.
Every time I smile, every compliment hurts just a little bit more.
But back to all or nothing.
Oh,
What are some areas in your life where you will issue an ultimatum, where it's like, no, this has to be done? I learned one recently, which was very interesting. Last year, I dated a guy.
okay.
Now, I'm full of myself. I'm that girl.
Mm-hmm.
Period. Like, you're not going to tell me I'm not that girl. But he wasn't telling me I was that girl. It's like, he was like, oh, you already know that, so why would I tell you?
Oh, no.
This year, I dated a guy who compliments me every hour on the hour. Babes, I'm never going back to that life ever again. You will never not be able to compliment me ever again. I'm so sorry to you. That's just not for me, like,
Bro.
at all.
See, and I don't like that. I had a boyfriend who was a complimenter, and I was just like, go away. We have other things to talk about than how pretty I am, I guess. But that's my
Everyone's preference is different, of
love
course.
language. So that's fine, but that is a good reason. Is that an ultimatum or a deal breaker?
Is it really different?
Depends. Deal breakers can happen before the contract is made. Ultimatums happen after the contract is made.
Oh, okay. Sometimes people be just jumping into the contract.
Exactly.
So,
and then we suddenly like, you don't compliment me every 4 hours. How dare you? We not gonna do this unless you. And then you're like, I didn't know this was part of the contract.
Here it is though. Here's the preliminary.
You didn't write this in the retainer.
I'm gonna give you a week trial. Here's the prerequisites. Satisfy them, and then get back at me. You understand me? And if you break it during the contract, you're gone,
bro.
Gone. See you in court, buddy. We work as paralegals, y'all. I'm sorry.
Yo,
I'm sorry.
I'll see you in litigation.
But that has become one of my new ultimatums, deal breakers. Yeah, you have to compliment. It gasses my head to like, I already know it. So even when that guy last year wasn't doing it, I would just look in the mirror like, yo, I'm that girl. But I realized how much how nice it is to really hear it, and I'm like, damn, I didn't realize that words of affirmation were something that I was like really into
until you heard it. And you're like, oh, it does make my wiggles jiggle.
like,
okay.
I'm giggling. Ooh. So yeah.
See, my love language is actually physical intimacy, and sometimes just in, it's gonna sound awful, but acting like a man in public. So I'm a dominant personality, but I'm a soft girl. So I need you to be the dominant person in the conversation, because I'm here for emergencies. I should be the last resort. I'm the one who's gonna have to make the complaint and actual do. I'm the scary one, because I'm the first one who's gonna be like, so we're doing litigation. Oh, I'm gonna handle this. I have all or nothing mentality when it comes to right and wrong. So if I think you're wrong, I'm gonna act like you're wrong, and I'm gonna treat you like you're wrong, and that's a real strong feeling. Depending on the situation, that could be me getting into the fight, and that could be me calling the cops. I should be the last person to respond to things, because I'm gonna have the final response. That's my end of my conversation. So I should not have to be at that point. I should be soft while I'm hanging out with you. So I need you to do things. So one thing that like one of my guy friends do, all of my guy friends do it. And my first adult boyfriend, he did it, and we fought about that because I wasn't used to it. And then once I got used to it, I was like, never again. It's the walking outside of me when on the sidewalk. When you're walking,
I'm literally just Omen.
Bro.
Literally just
Bro,
Omen.
that's exactly what I feel when they do that. And I like that. Mm-hmm. It's okay to feel like just a woman.
Yeah.
I want you to let me feel like I'm just a woman. I don't have to be Superwoman. I can be just a woman, because you're going to be Superman around me. You're going to make sure that I'm safe. You're making sure that no car is hitting me. I don't have to be hyper aware of the situation. And because I'm someone who has high anxiety, so I'm super aware of situations, that is one of my biggest safety nets. If you make me feel safe, which is also why I like dudes with bigger muscles than me, you got to be able to pick me up and put me down. I need to be able to see the veins in your arms. If I can't see it, I'm judging you.
So, yeah, that's another deal breaker from one of my ultimatums. Like, if I have to think when I'm around you, I don't want to be around you.
Bro.
Which is part of the problem because men are not the brightest. So if I have to
they're
think,
smart.
Oh, okay. The thing is though, I need you to be smart on every level. I need you to be like, babes, I need to be able to act ditzy around you. Like, I have no sense.
Bro.
And that's not the case. I'm very intelligent. But when I'm around you, I need to be like, la, 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 la.
Yup. 100%.
If I'm not that around you, get away. You can't be with me.
I promise you, I'm a full-blown protagonist when I'm in the woods. If you let me out into nature, I promise you, I've gone into full protagonist mode. I will walk with a picnic basket, and y'all can just take me to where grandma's house is supposed to be. Whether or not I survive is really up to the gods, but like, I'm gonna go, and that's where my man is supposed to be like, come here, sit down, go relax. And I'll be like, okay.
So outside of relationships, what are some ultimatums for you? Like, let's say work, friendships.
I don't like take backs with friendships.
Take backs like how?
I have a hard time forgiving people who are like, oh, well, I can't be your friend, or I don't want to be friends with you because of X, Y, and Z. And then suddenly they're like, oh, I want to fix things. I'm like, no, because I already know that you're the type of person who's going to drop me.
But they already issued the ultimatum, though.
And
so your ultimatum is that they gave an ultimatum.
Exactly. My ultimatum is if you give me an ultimatum. If you give me an ultimatum, I will not trust you again. Because I'll sit there, I'd be like, oh, so you either wanna mush me, you know exactly what I mean. Like, you trying to like.
No, mush is just a funny word. Like, every time somebody says it, I giggle. I don't know.
Like, you trying to run me with ultimatums, and I feel like somebody's trying to run me. It doesn't matter what the ultimatum is. Mm-hmm. If you tell me if you don't, yeah. I go, then do.
Yeah, one thing about me, I'm gonna fail an ultimatum every time.
Every time.
Do this or do that. Well, I'm not doing either. Bye.
Bye.
The answer is bye. That's
bye.
Really the answer. Somebody gave me an ultimatum a couple years ago, and this is where the Capricorn, the Jamaican, the elder sibling dickhead comes out in me, because this girl done send me 7 paragraphs about her feelings, and I'm just in there. And I'm also avoidant. So this girl sent me 7 paragraphs about her feelings, and I'm just in there like, Lord, it's a Sunday. It's the day of rest. And here you are twiddling your thumbs typing to text me. Lord. Blah, 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 blah. If you don't fix this, we can't be friends anymore. I sent her, okay, bet. You just wasted 7 paragraphs, bro. You could have started with that, and I would have been like, okay.
That's the end of the conversation. Like,
she's like, oh, you don't care about me? You don't care about me. Why are you listing your demands as if we're in court?
Bro.
And then telling me if I don't fix this about myself, we can't be friends. You're not my true friend in the first place. If they're...
Speak it.
Bro, if I've offended you and wronged you so immensely bad, you're like, nah, we cannot be friends. Why'd you even come to me with it, bro? You already made up your mind. And if I've aggrieved you so horrendously, what was the point? Like, she's describing a trait that I have that she already knew that I had. Why are you getting offended now, gang? You knew this from the jump. I never hid this from you.
I think you and I got the same a-hole mentalities on that one, because I've done it multiple times, because when you complain about things, I just hear myself, because I know I said this. I'll be like, yo, I know I said that out loud. I got the same issue. If you tell me, if you don't, I won't. Okay, I do tell. And you know me, I'm very self-depreciative. So like, I've told you that I'm crazy. I've told you that I don't respond to certain things well. I express, you who's known me for like half a year, you can say that I've told you my negative traits, if not more strongly than my positive traits, to give you some sort of heads up of my crazy. And then when everybody gets mad, I sit there, I'll be like, but I told you Thought I was crazy.
Nah, you did something the other day and I just looked at you. And you knew that I just looked at you. I was like, what are you talking about right now? Like, I'm not even... I was like,
Yo. And I sit there and I'll be like, and we'll argue, we'll go back and forth. And I'd rather us argue and go back and forth and come to a conclusion or not come to a conclusion than you go, you know what? I'm not going to talk to you ever again.
My conclusion is I'm going to shut the hell up. That's my conclusion. Because whether you think... this is not just for you, by the way. This is just for anybody. If you think you won, I'm going to just shut up and be like, okay. Whatever. Sometimes I see why men just shut up and choose peace. Because it's not that I think you're right in any means of the word. I just think to myself...
Is it worth the conversation?
I just want us to stop talking right now. Thank you. Oh, we're stop talking. Lovely. Come back to me when you've gotten sense. And that's just me with everybody. Like, you really thought that, huh? I'm going to give you 3 points and then I'm going to walk away. See, and that's just that.
I'm okay with both sides, because I believe that being able to walk away and come back is a very good answer.
People don't like that, though.
That's not...
I've had situations where I've dealt with somebody and I'm like, you know what? The emotion's too high right now. When I've calmed down, I'll come back to you. And they're like, oh, you're avoiding me, blah, blah, blah. Give it some time to rest, bro. Like, after you've just made me so upset to the point of me wanting to cuss you in my native tongue, give it a minute and then I'll get back to you. It's going to take a good 3-5 hours.
Bruh.
Give it some time. Relax. I'm going to come over. I'm going to mull it over in my head. Come back later with less hype and tell you why you are so stupid. And then we can get back on track. Like, I don't understand why people don't like to give me time when I'm upset.
Bro.
Shut up and leave me alone and I'll come back to you.
Bro.
Let it go.
Especially, I think that bugs me a lot. When you're already, if you know that the tensions are high, that is not the time to throw down the ultimatum card. If you mad, you can't be like, we're going to break up if you don't fix this now. Okay. I don't like ultimatums. Ultimatums ruin relationships.
Yeah, they do.
I think doing all or nothing, doing it is a great idea, but I believe in ye harm none, do what you will. Do if you're not harming anyone, but that's an act of mindfulness. Are you mindful of what's going on? Are you mindful of the people that you're affecting by your actions? Are you affecting other people with your actions? That, like, case in point, someone who watches porn, right? And there's a spectrum and wide range of those. Mm-hmm. And in that spectrum, there are definite spaces where you can tell where more harm is to the people who are engaging in the situation than the people who are who are watching the situation, right? Mm-hmm. And there are certain areas where you get judged for it, right? Mm-hmm. Where everybody goes, you watch that kind? Ew. Like, well, but you have to know, like, where that limit is. Mm-hmm. And who is it harming? If it's not harming anyone, there's no issue. But if you know that this piece is producing harm to someone else, it's perfectly fine to look at naked pictures of someone. It's not okay to put AI photos of your friends on those naked pictures.
Let's dial it back, though, unrelating to the porn. The part where you were saying if the ultimatum brings peace or not.
Yes.
What if I value my peace so much over somebody else's torment? It's like, am I the a-hole?
Yes.
So let it be that.
Bro, that's really the answer. Sometimes you just gotta be it.
But speaking of am I the a-hole, we got a little quick scenario. So.
Ready?
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Am I the a-hole for pretty much giving my wife an ultimatum? My wife and I are in our late 30s and have 2 girls, 14 and 16. My wife works in a pretty high-stress position that often requires a lot of travel, sometimes up to 2 full weeks a month. But the job is in her desired field, and she's working hard to get where she is, and it pays well, which is a plus. I work a low-stress job with more flexible hours, but it doesn't pay well. Because of my wife's job, I have been the parent that attends to most of our kids' needs. I take them to their activities, I attend the games and recitals, I take them shopping, taught our oldest how to drive, etc. A few weeks ago, my wife got a job offer from a client of hers that she's worked with for years. It would be a more stable position that would pretty much eliminate her travel and would also come with a nice bump in pay. The only problem is that the job is literally across the country, like 2,000 miles away.
Oh.
When she told me about it, she was beyond excited because the job would finally give her a chance to be at home with her girls again. She was talking about it like it was already decided and that she would take the job and we would move. I tried to share in her initial excitement, but all I could think of was leaving behind the life that the girls and I had built here. My wife sensed that I wasn't as enthusiastic about the job as she was and asked me what was up. I told her that the girls are at an age now where uprooting their lives and leaving their friends behind would be a pretty drastic change, and we needed to get their input before making any decisions. She agreed, and we spoke with them.
Oop.
Both of the girls wanted to stay where we are. Neither liked the idea of moving and starting in new schools. They liked their friends, they liked their school, they liked their sports and activities here. My wife got upset and tried to convince them how much better it would be for her to have a job that actually allowed her to be present in their lives again. But my oldest pretty much told her that she was being selfish for asking them to uproot their lives just so that she could feel better about herself. My wife broke down in tears after the talk and confessed to me that she thought this new job would be an easy decision for us and I should help her convince our daughters that she was making the right choice. I told her that I wasn't going to do that. I told her we should wait until the girls are done with high school before moving across the country like that. She said this kind of opportunity doesn't come around that often, and if she doesn't take it, then she doesn't know if she'll ever get a chance like this again. She said she felt like I was forcing her to choose between her family and her career, and I told her that's pretty much exactly the position she needs to make. She asked what would happen if she took the job, and I told her I would probably stay here with the girls. She called me an asshole and now isn't talking to me.
Oh, now she's not talking to you. So honestly, first of all, not the asshole. At first I was like, he's the asshole because usually ultimatums break relationships, but he didn't make that ultimatum. She did.
I'm half and half. I'm half and half because I feel like they're giving the kids too much privilege in this situation.
How old are the kids again?
14 and 16. They're talking about, change is always going to come.
Yeah.
Change comes at you fast. Change comes at you unexpected. Moving so that you could have a better life don't seem like too bad of a change to me. I feel like they're probably living in one of them small towns where it's like, if I leave my friends, I'm never going to find friends again. As someone who moved a lot, I don't find like it's a big deal.
Isn't 2,000 miles California to New York?
Basically.
That's not a small space.
I just feel like, why not?
And two reasons. This is why I'm on Team Dad on this one. One, 2,000 miles is cross country. It is New York to Cali. Two, they are 14 and 16. When like, it's okay to do it when they're young, before junior high school. That's fine. High school, a lot of your prereqs for college are based off of the high school you went to. Your records will get lost if you don't graduate.
No, but hear what the father said. He said that they'll move after they finish high school.
Yes.
Either way, wherever they go to college, especially if they're going to college we don't know their college plans. It wouldn't matter.
Yes, it would.
No, it would not.
Okay,
it depends on where they were going to college.
But that's the statement, right? If you have to add the depends, that means it matters. If you have to say, well, if she went to a different, that means it matters. The school that you go to, having your records in one place from one school, if you are doing well, if let's say the 16-year-old and 14-year-old are doing amazing in their high school right now, they're getting straight A's, whatever. You hop and pick them up and drop them off to another school across the country. We don't know the teaching styles. We don't know the strategic learning that they're teaching. That kid. New York has regions. California doesn't have regions. They may be prepared for two different tests. 16 years old, those are SATs and PSAT times. You could be failing, and suddenly you have a brand new school record that your GPA went from being a 4.0 to being a 2.0 because you were freaked out. You showed up in half the school year, so the teacher can't pass you. So you get a failing grade for showing up in the middle of the school year, and then you have no friends, and you have to learn everything. Junior year, 16 and 17. That's her junior and senior year. That's the end of her school year. What? And you're gonna miss out on her senior year of high school, where all of her friends and all of those things and all those memories that she made in high school.
Too much emotion behind it.
See,
no.
Yes, those are the emotions that are behind the statement.
Jamaican in me that's like, you can always make new friends.
Like, you can make new friends, but again, that's the American culture of it all. It's those experiences, and the 14-year-old is just now getting the experience. 14-year-old was a better chance. If the oldest one was 14, I would have been like, fine, whatever. But 16 is a major year for students in high school, and it's a major junior year and 7th grade are the biggest years for your academic career.
You started high school.
No, 7th grade.
No, she's 14.
Yes,
You're
I'm saying that.
in high school.
No, I'm saying 7th grade and junior year.
Okay.
Yeah, 7th grade and junior year, because the 16-year-old is in her junior year. Mm-hmm. Those are the two grades that are the most important to your grades in your high school and your college career. The 7th grade gets all those specialty regents, all the math and English, science, those major exams happen 7th grade of junior high, and that's the performance that they give to the high schools to say, I want to go to this school. And it's the same way in high school. Junior year is when you do all of those exams, because a lot of kids get into their college by senior year. I was already accepted into my college by October of my senior year. So you're telling me to leave out my school while I was still applying for colleges? And on top of that, in-college rates versus in-state rates versus out-of-state rates.
That's why I said it would depend on where they went to college.
So you moving her from a nice in-state price to a new out-of-state price.
Assuming they would have been in-state. I'm saying, what if she then moved to college 2,000 miles away? You would have still been screwed.
That's the statement. No, you are screwed because of location. You have to be living in your state. We're getting
off topic.
I know. We getting the math of it.
On time.
Wait, no, because you have to do the each state. You have to get in-state tuition. Yeah. You have to have lived there or have permanent address there.
For a couple years.
For a couple of years.
It depends.
Yes, it's really 2 years.
Yeah.
So
if it was 2 years, that's what I'm saying, the shorty would have been fine.
No, shorty's already in junior high.
It depends on if she already had started the 16-year-old I'm talking about.
Yes.
I'm talking about
the 14-year-old is fine.
I'm talking about whether they had started that junior year or not.
Yes.
We don't know these circumstances. So that's why I'm saying it all depends.
But her statement is, you trying to take me away from my friends, so she already in
Kids
school.
always gonna holler about that, no matter what time of school the year it is. No. My point is, I feel like she's trying to be there for her family. I mean, I understand that you, in your teenage years, you don't really care about your parents. You're like, screw you, mom, you know?
Bruh.
But the mother is trying to create this. She's a primary breadwinner, so she's not around her family, and she's always. I'm imagining she works extensive hours. She's what they said, 2 weeks out of the month. Shorty's never home.
Yo,
half the time Shorty's never home to see her family in the first place.
So we ain't gonna miss you. That's crazy.
Nah, that's
how is that crazy?
Woman's literally trying to be a part of her family, crazy? And they're telling her be a part of the family.
How many of these men go and travel to make their money and bring the money back home, and that wasn't an issue then?
No, but this is something she wants. She wants to be a part of the family.
So if you wanted to be in the part of this family, you would be with the family. You didn't choose to be with the family.
Because the man is a weak ass nigga and decided that he wasn't gonna be the primary breadwinner. He decided he gonna work a low stress job. You hear what the man said? The man said, I am working low stress and I'm gonna be at home. He didn't provide that for his wife, or even a medium stress. He's not even taking any of the baggage off of her. Why doesn't he get something that's slightly more stressful so that he can off balance the cost?
Why wasn't that an option on either side?
Well, they're both just dumb. That's an option now.
That's why I think she's more of the asshole, because when we talk about all or nothing,
he's part of the asshole for not giving her that option.
He may be an asshole for not thinking of that option at the moment, and give or take, he might be mad. Whatever. We're not going to go into that. But you just told me that we go in. Like, it wasn't even a conversation. It wasn't I got this opportunity. Should we go? It wasn't, we are having a conversation about this opportunity. She came and was like, I'm got a job in New York. We heading out.
Deuces. She jumped the gun. But afterwards,
so she's the asshole.
No, I'm not taking that far. She did jump the gun. However, she then doubled back and said, you know what? All right, you're right. I'm tweaking a little bit right now. Let's go discuss it with the kids and see what everybody says.
And the kids were like, no. So if
because the kids then said, screw her. Because the kids then said, screw her. And that's a slap in the face. That is a major slap in the face for her.
That's a major slap because she wasn't there in the first place.
Because she was providing for the family.
And there are a lot of fathers who provide for the family as far as they need to go, and they can come back when they do. There are plenty of mothers and wives. I remember there was an entire thing on TikTok where all the wives and men who travel to work were all having issues because they call them like truck stop girls or whatever. When they were like, y'all trying to steal our husbands. And
that was a crazy time.
You remember this. So that was a moment. So like there is a whole culture of people who you can go travel and I can take care of the household. Why does everybody need to uproot 16 years of life because of your opportunity? How about you go for 2 years, see that opportunity, and we can come meet you in 2 years? What about that option?
That would then be uprooting the girl would be 16 at that point then, and that becomes the same problem over again.
You can transfer the 14-year-old early. You can move one at a time.
No, but you said go travel the 2 years and then come back.
She can go 2 years. You can take the 14-year-old.
The 14-year-old said screw her too.
Okay, so then we all staying here, so we'll be there in 4 years, all right? When both of them hit college, we'll come over. That's only 4 years away. You'll be all right.
But the whole point is she was taking the job so she can be at home. That was literally.
But she's not trying to be at home. She's trying to be across the country and make a new home.
Exactly.
That's not a home.
She wants the home to happen.
If you wanted to be home, if you want to be home, you have to be home. Like you can't just be like, you have to. You can't just be like, oh, this is a new home, so we're just gonna do this new home.
She wanted to spend time with her family.
That's not spending time. That's uprooting everyone. That's just saying
she's uprooting everyone. So she's taking away the negative now. She's uprooting them now.
It's only negative to her.
To then have a proper family.
But the thing is that the situation is only negative to her.
What do you mean? The current situation is only negative to her.
Because as we talked about earlier, all or nothing is about is as long as the harm doesn't outweigh the benefits, right? Mm-hmm. When you want to make selfless decisions and you want to do ultimatums and you want to do all of that. The harm outweighs the good. The only difference, the only true positive is that she's making more money and it might be more stable. The guarantee that you'll be more available to your children is not true. Because if you work, you're working. And honestly, you cannot control that. That's what work looks like. You can't make any promises about time given because if you're a workaholic, if you were the type who needed that time given and time with your children and were going to do that, you would have done it. You would have done it in the state you were in. You would have done it in the state you were in a near around. You said that you will never have this opportunity. That's BS. That's an easy opportunity. That is someone who you had a networking opportunity. Yes, you reached out, but that's not your only opportunity. If that person has that job for you, that person has enough money to know people who has that job for you, right?
Well, then now you gotta bring in the power dynamics in that, and the resentment, because he said Shorty not talking to him no more.
Now she mad because she thought that her power play was going to work. She thought that she's a boss bee in every other situation that's going to work at home.
Because she's the one who ultimately holds the power. So wouldn't she have...
But as you can see, you can say she ultimately holds the power, but he told you point blank, nobody's leaving.
He threw down his apron and said, no, I will not be having this.
Ken is not having it.
I need to go watch that movie so bad.
Ken is not having it. Barbie got it. Barbie, you can go be an astronaut. You can come back, and we will see you when you get here. But if you choose...
You watched the movie?
Not yet.
Because what you said it went against your point, actually. So... But you know what? We are running out of time.
Oh, no.
So we cannot dive into that as much as I would love to.
It's okay. But what's happening now is that I'm taking a sabbatical because I'm going on vacation. And I want to get an understanding of travel and going around the world. So I'm going to be out. And we are going to come back. So there is no show that was up today because that will go up in September along with this episode.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we will see you in September. Until then, my name is Leah the Bee. This is Ashley, Miss Dawkins to you. And this is Metro Blurs, Metropolitan Black Nerds.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.